Hello and welcome to FDTV. We are back again with another episode of our weekly podcast. I'm your host Ali, joined with my fellow co-host Jawad. Jawad, how are you doing
I'm
today?
doing great. Another exciting week of football that we just witnessed. Amazing football on display. And without moving any further, first thing, make sure to hit the subscribe button and give it a thumbs up. Let's get into it.
So we have the semi-finals of the Euro 2020 lined up. England are going to take on Denmark and Italy are going against Spain. Let's talk about the Italians first. What did you make of their quarter-final victory?
Well, first thing that I want to say is that the performance that we just saw was not the old Italy that we're used to. It was something completely different. So I'm just looking at the lineup, the way they played. I think the first and most important thing that I noticed between the Italy lineup was Nicolo Barella. What a player he has been so far for Italy. Again, doing the same what he did for Inter, just running up and down. And another important decision from Mancini's point of view was starting Federico Chiesa on the right-hand side. I think that was really what kind of impacted the game. What was your point of view with Chiesa starting on the right-hand side?
I think he did well. Obviously, when you play Berardi, you have to compromise defense and work rate as well. Chiesa likes to track back if the team is in trouble. Obviously, with Bonucci and Chiellini, the back line was very solid, but still, you need in certain occasions you need to defend, and Chiesa likes to move back and track back and help the team out whenever he can. So that was a good decision on Mancini's part. I like the way Chiesa performed, and first of all, I would like to say that Italy looked like a proper unit who came in with a proper plan and conducted it properly. On the day, on the big occasion of the quarterfinal, who was your standout player?
So I'm not going to pick an Italian player from this point onward because they were a team performance. It wasn't something which was a standout player that had it in them to really shine outright. Though they had some great talent on pitch, it was one player that's relatively unknown who ended up outshining the life of Kevin De Bruyne, Lukaku, and even Trojan Hazard, who ended up scoring a screamer in the last round. I'm talking about the player Doku. What a game he had. He was causing Italy trouble all day, all night long, right? So it was scary to kind of watch him because I think he deserved a goal. He didn't end up getting a goal, but that was all down to the defense that Italy possessed. It wasn't for his lack of effort. What did you make of his performance?
I think it was kind of a surprise package, if I'm not wrong. Nobody predicted him to be in the starting lineup. Nobody predicted him to make an impact for Belgium. I was more disappointed in Lukaku. He did not trouble Bonucci and Chiellini at all. He scored that penalty, obviously. But other than that, it was a terrible performance from the big centre forward.
Let's talk about that penalty for a minute before we move on. What did you make of it? Because I didn't think that was a penalty at all.
No, I don't think that was a penalty either. I don't think the VAR system is implemented properly in the Euros, and it needs a lot of refurnishing if it needs to be perfected for bigger tournaments in the future. And we have the World Cup coming up. That was not a penalty. Actually, I would say that 50% of the penalties that have been awarded in the tournament were not penalties. They were very soft. The Jules Koundé penalty and the Kylian Mbappe penalty against Portugal fall in the same category. So I think Lukaku was lucky to get one.
Yeah, getting that penalty that's again, at the end of the day, it was the only goal they scored. But no, it wasn't a penalty at all. It's just a minor shove. Now, we're not allowed to touch an attacker in the box. What does that mean, right? So it's ridiculous to a point where we're kind of changing the effect of the game. Because if Mbappe hadn't scored that penalty, hadn't got that penalty, I don't think that Benzema would have scored, and I don't think Portugal would have lost that match. So to be honest with you, this whole penalty debacle has been completely overblown. The referees, even though the refereeing overall has been good, just the way that they've looked at these penalty incidents have made me really rethink about what is going on in Euros. But regardless of that, on the other hand side, it was a beauty of a goal from Insigne. What a goal that was. Let's talk about that a little bit.
He has been trying that move throughout the tournament, and he finally pulled it off. Screamer of a goal. Probably in the top 5 goals scored at this tournament. Obviously, Schick is leading the line. Then we got Ronaldo's goal against Hungary. Now, this falls right in the top 5 category. It was beautiful goal, beautifully worked by Insigne, and it just showcases to the world that due to his faith to Napoli, I think people downgrade him and forget about Insigne. But I think he's one of the best players in the world of football. He's the master of his position, the left wing spot, and he puts a shift in every single time. I don't think I have seen Insigne have a bad game so far for Italy. But other than that, let's talk a little bit about Spain. What did you make about their quarterfinal performance?
I must say that it was probably the worst penalty shootout I've seen. And again, I was hoping for it to go down to the penalties because I was hoping for another Swiss miracle. It didn't end up happening this time around, obviously, but I think for better or worse, it gives us a better semifinals in Italy and Spain. But overall, I felt for Switzerland. I felt for their fans. I felt for the players. And the only thing that was really disappointing to me, because the saves were really good, it was that the penalties were really weak. I don't recall who it was, but the third penalty that was scored, just the one that went over the bar, what was the player thinking? I think that was probably the worst penalty of the tournament. I've seen Mbappe kind of miss a penalty. That was a huge step. But missing that particular penalty from a Swiss player, that kind of put the nail in the coffin for the Swiss. Overall, what was the game like for you? Was it exciting at all?
And at the end of the day, I would say that Spain are very lucky to go through,
Mhm.
and they have a tougher challenge against Italy, and I think they will likely go out. But how do you see semi-final panning out? What do you think will be the approach of the two managers for this big clash?
So Spain, everyone was talking about the 10 goals they scored in the two games, but what ended up happening in this one was when they came up against a team that likes to defend, that's really good at not letting goals in. They didn't manage to go into that high numbers. It was only the one goal, and even that goal, to be honest, I wasn't a big fan of it. But the way they've lined up, Morata hasn't been impressing me at all. Fernan Torres ended up missing a chance, and then Sarabia was probably the shining light in the attack for Spain. Now, how do you actually manage all of those players against Italy when you've got a really good defense? Now, obviously, Italy is going to be missing Spinazzola, who is out with an injury for almost 6 months at this point. That's what's been diagnosed. But it's going to be crazy to look at now. Who comes in on the left-hand side for Italy? That's going to be the key. Now, obviously, because on the left-hand side, you would have Fernan Torres taking on whoever that defender is. So that's going to be exciting to watch. Though he hasn't been really given the chance to shine at City. I feel like for Spain, he's been doing a little bit better. But as of right now, Spain's attack is kind of misfiring. Do you see Spain scoring any goals against Italy?
Absolutely not. Unless it's a 30-yard screamer from the likes of Sarabia or Ferran Torres, I don't see them going anywhere near the likes of Bonucci and Chiellini, who have been remarkable throughout the tournament. I think Spain will go out in the semi-final, and it will be a fair result because they did not deserve to win the quarter-final. They were lucky that the match got dragged to the penalties, but I think this will be the best time for Spain to bow out of the tournament, and Italy will likely play the final. What is your prediction for the semi-final?
My prediction for the semi-final is a 2-0 win for Italy, though I'm kind of scared predicting that because so far none of my predictions have actually come true. So I don't want to jinx Italy for that, but I'm hoping that Italy make it all the way to the final because probably in the tournament they have been the best team overall. So I'm not going to be counting Spain out altogether, but I'm still hoping for a 2-0 Italy win. Where is your mind at?
I think it will be a straightforward 3-0 Italian win. They will cruise to the final, and they will likely dominate the Spanish attack, which is non-existent these days, and Morata will have a stinker again. So 3-0 to Italians. I think let's see what happens. It is a brilliant tie nonetheless, and I will be definitely watching it. Thank you so much for watching another video of FDTV.
It's been great to have you joining us. Again, make sure to leave a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. Every single subscription helps.
It motivates to put out more football content on a daily basis. Until then, see you next time. FDTV out.